Hi there, welcome back. This is our week number 8 of STEAM challenges you can do at home. You can check out my blog for all the challenges, weekly STEAM challenges. And for this week, it's a kind of a continuation of last week. This week's challenge is the Book Tower Challenge, and the challenge is to build a strong base. So let's just jump right in. We'll go ahead and open up the details and see if we can learn a little bit about what it takes to make a nice strong base. So if you click on the link in my blog, it'll take you to a Google slide with all the details. So let's jump right in and take a look at that Google slide. And like all my challenges, I always like to start with the engineering design process. So we're going to always start by asking a question, doing a little bit of research, and then imagining what are some possible solutions, make a plan, and then try creating, experimenting, and improving on our plan. So this week's challenge, Build a Strong Base, is, of course, introduced with our guest visitor, and this week we have President Trump. And if you go to my blog, you can click on the link right here to view the Voki message from our president. And he says, "My fellow Americans, we are looking for civil engineers to design a strong foundation for our new skyscraper." And if you took part or looked at our challenge number 7, this is actually a continuation to challenge number 7. And for this one, we're focusing on the base. We want to make sure that we have a strong base that can hold a lot of weight. So let's take a look. Here is a wonderful video link to a video explaining why the Tower of Pisa is leaning and what mistakes they made when they were building the base. It has a lot to do with the type of soil you are building on. So I'm not going to open that video just now, but if you go ahead, you can click on that link. And here's a great description. Why do skyscrapers need a strong base? So when civil engineers design a building, they must calculate the total compressive load that will be at work in the structure. This tells engineers how much weight the bottom of the building must be able to hold up. Compression is a squeezing force. The bottom of the building is compressed from the upward force exerted on it by the ground below and the downward force of the weight above. To do this, they take into account the anticipated load weight resulting from how many people will use the building. I thought that was very interesting. And the weight of the structure itself. Based on these and other calculations, materials with appropriate properties for carrying the weight are chosen, and structural components such as columns and beams are designed to provide adequate support and weight distribution. It has to be spread out evenly. These calculations are important so that engineers can build safe and stable buildings. And I thought this was really interesting to think about when we started building these tall structures. Really, a lot of it was inspired from nature. If you take a look at tree roots, they hold up very tall trees, and you can see how the branches spread out and really distribute the weight. And there are even some trees that are taller than some very tall man-made structures. So when we think of skyscrapers, we should always realize that most of the things that we do that are man-made, really we are learning a lot from nature. And here are just some different models of structures for building, and you can see how there are those pillars holding up the foundation, and you want to make sure that weight is distributed evenly, and you want to make sure that you are building on a strong soil bedrock foundation, especially if you're going deep. Very interesting. So going back to last week's challenge, we did look at the Dubai Creek Tower, which is planned to be the tallest structure, not skyscraper, but the tallest tower in the world. And if you look back at last week's challenge, you'll see why. And this video, if you click down here, talks a lot about all the work that went into building a strong foundation to hold such a tall structure. So I recommend you check that out as well. All right, so let's get to our imagine stage of the engineering design process. As you're trying to sketch out your idea, think about how many legs will your base have, what shape will each leg have, how wide will each leg be, and how many inches tall will each leg be. Again, you're going to be, let's get to our materials. Here we go for our plan. You're going to be using paper, and you can choose from different shapes. Do you think you want your legs to be rectangular in shape, square in shape, or circle in shape? Once you choose your shape, you're going to see how much weight it can hold. So on the right, you'll see a picture with 4 cylinder-shaped pieces of paper holding up quite an impressive number of science textbooks. So think about what your structure will look like in order to hold the most weight. And of course, you can also use a scale to measure how much the books actually weigh, so you can actually get a more accurate measurement of how much those books weigh. And then it's the fun part. Start building, start testing, and seeing which design works better. So we always have a criteria. As you're testing and improving, see if you can increase the amount of weight by changing maybe the amount of legs you have or the shape of the legs. Or maybe you might want to reinforce them with a second piece of paper. Thinking about how can I make this base stronger? How can I make it taller? And how can I stretch the materials I'm using to their limit? I think that's something engineers think about often. How am I using these materials the best way possible? Again, you can also check out these different video links that also give some great examples. And then, of course, my last slide always has some sample additional references and resources that you can check it out as well. So I hope you'll check out my Blackout this week's challenge. And of course, if you didn't get to do last week's challenge, Reach for the Sky, you might want to try that one first. And if you didn't get to the challenges before that, please check out my blog and see if you can come up with some creative ideas and designs of your own. And of course, as always, I'd love to see your comments in the comments section. Thanks so much. Happy tinkering. Good luck to you.